So my colleague Paul and I wrote the book Making School Unmissable because we're absolutely convinced that we've got a crisis going on at the moment in education, with too many young people not feeling like it's important to be in school every day and having that sort of FOMO of, if I'm not in school I'm going to miss something really crucial. And perhaps also too many adults not feeling the unmissability of school. So we know we've got a recruitment and retention challenge in education at the moment. And we also know that we've got lots of families that don't necessarily see how vital it is for their child to be in school each and every day. And that connectivity with some families is something that we need to improve. The main message of the book is that in order to feel that school's unmissable, whether you're a child, a learner, an adult, a teacher, a member of support staff, or a parent or carer, you need 5 senses. A sense of purpose. You need to understand the point of school, what you'll get out of it, what's in it for you. You need a sense of success to really feel like each improvement and strength you make is acknowledged and recognised, and that you're getting the praise and feedback for it. You need a sense of belonging, that without feeling a sense of belonging, you're not going to feel that school is necessarily somewhere that you're connected to and that's a safe place for you. A sense of empowerment, that school makes you stronger and more independent and resilient and self-starting as a learner and a person navigating your way through life. And lastly, but really importantly, a sense of adventure and fun. Those 5 senses are deliberately not hierarchical. One isn't more important than the other. And they all actually interlink. They sort of bleed in and out of each other. Belonging is a sense that a lot of people are talking about at the moment. I'm not sure that always 2 people talking about a sense of belonging are interpreting belonging in the same way, and I think there's a piece of work to be done to really define what we mean in a school or a trust or a community when we talk about belonging. But belonging is absolutely crucial. A curriculum is only going to be strong and effective if it is representative of all young people, not just all young people in the school, but all young people in society and globally. So every learner, whatever their unique characteristics and their background and their heritage, needs to see that people like them have contributed to the making of the world as it is, the successes and achievements of our society. They need to see themselves usualised within that curriculum. And also we know that when we feel a sense of belonging as humans, that's a scientific, a physiological sense. And if we don't have that sense of belonging, we find it harder to trust other people, to work with other people, to listen to advice and guidance from other people, to feel psychologically safe. So if we have a really sharp and ambitious and aspirational curriculum, but we haven't got learners accessing that curriculum who feel connected and safe and valued and seen in the school, those children aren't going to learn that curriculum as well, and they're not going to make such great progress and achieve such great academic outcomes. Schools are normally very data rich. They have a huge amount of data, but perhaps are sometimes a bit bamboozled by the wealth of data sources that could be analysed or interrogated. I think to make change manageable and realistic and achievable in a sort of resource-poor education environment, it's important to ask the right questions, to be curious, to analyse data sources, and where gaps or differences in experience or outcomes for different groups manifest, to be very intentional and specific about what action needs to be taken informed by that data. So I would say, if a leader's thinking, where on earth do I start around making school unmissable and creating inclusive learning environments for all learners to thrive, it would be look at your data, ensure that you're doing voice activities, so you're really getting feedback from all groups, including underserved groups. Ensure that you're interrogating not just data around progress and outcomes, but around inclusion and participation and involvement. And then be informed and driven by where the data shows you you've got the most work to do. So I tried in my keynote today to give lots of practical examples of things that schools and settings and trusts are doing that are having demonstrable impact, and things that they're doing without lots of extra financial resource or without lots of additional time. So one thing that I talked about, for example, is how the power of building a young person's sense of status. If a child feels different from, lacking in certain things that other learners have, less confident, as though their voice is valued less, just the little nuances, the way in which, by giving more eye contact, through open body language, through reassuring feedback, through giving airtime to children who wouldn't normally sort of demand it themselves, we build the status of young people. Just a sort of acknowledgement of a great idea, or the conference of a responsibility on a young person who isn't used to having that, creates what are sometimes called moments of prestige that really build the self-confidence of a young person. And that sort of has a virtuous cycle effect. It sort of builds and mushrooms and snowballs, and starts from just really little things like open body language, eye contact, affirmative feedback.